Hi, Anne.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
I'm here with Anne Underwood. She's a fellow mama friend and a mystic. I've invited her on here to talk about human design. But before we dive in, I want to share your bio. Okay, Anne?
All right.
Okay, cool. Anne Underwood is a Texas farm girl turned Los Angeles based actor, writer, and eventually realtor, turned Portuguese housewife and holistic home birthing mother, turned energy healing, herbal obsessed Cherokee mystic. She has a BFA in theater from USC and has spent the last 30 plus years working in the arts with children, in spiritual spaces, or some combination of the three. She currently lives in Dallas, Texas with her patient husband, three phenomenal children, two horses, eight chickens, and one naughty pup. For Anne, being a mother is unquestionably the most rewarding and important part of this wild, beautiful life. Did you have anything more you wanted to add?
No, no, that's me right now. Ask me in a couple of months, there might be something else.
Exactly. I think, we got connected in your herbal obsessed phase.
Right.
I mean, it probably still is part of you because
Yeah.
you're the one who I always turn to when I need holistic medicine and holistic care.
Well, that's really sweet. Yeah, I have been deep diving into that for years and really learning. It's not a practice in a sense of making money doing it, but I really enjoy it. And I get a lot of people that ask me questions, and I think my kids have been the guinea pigs on a lot of that stuff. And you know
Yeah.
what? They still come to me when they have issues. Like my son was sick a couple days ago, and like he's like, "Mom, I don't have time to get sick. Give me all you got." And I'm like, "The garlic, the vitamin C, the elderberry. Let's do it. You're sleeping now. You're eating now. You're conserving your energy." And like 24 hours, and he was done with it. So come to
Yes, I
me.
love that. Yeah, and I love that whenever I go to you, you have the best products to buy, like silver wings, colloidal silver. It's
The
not like
colloidal
here you need to use some colloidal silver. But you have to use this kind. It's 200 whatever rather than like the 30
parts per
pp.
million.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ppm that you get at the stores, which you would never know, right? And
which
then we
doesn't
come
do
home.
anything for
Right. And we're
anybody
like, well,
listening.
the colloidal silver doesn't work, but it's because we're not using right. And then you turn me on to the pure O3 ozonated
Yeah,
oils.
for
And
everything.
those don't smell very good, but they work.
No,
They are
they're
great.
awful. They smell horrible. But
Yeah.
like they will cure your herpes outbreak. They will like cure your gout. I mean, it's crazy what you can cure with ozone. It's bananas. For your
It's
cancer,
oh
it's
gosh,
amazing.
it's
Ozone's
incredible.
amazing. I had
It's incredible.
horrible, horrible ulcers in my stomach that would bleed occasionally for like 20 years, and I started taking ozone capsules. Done. Like
Done.
completely healed.
Oh my gosh. So you can get ozone capsules too? Is that
Mhm.
available on Pure O3 or do you get your
It
ozone?
it is now. It only used to be available in Europe, but now it's approved for yeah, taking it in capsule form.
Oh
And
my
those
God.
are really powerful.
We have to get
But
some immediately.
ozone evaporates, right? So if
Yeah.
you have like a cream or something, the potency isn't strong forever, but if you have the capsule,
Yeah.
it stays in there. So we even use the capsules that you take for like a really persistent skin problem because that potency is going to be the highest.
Right. And so you're taking it internally, the capsule. You wouldn't open it.
No, I open it too.
Okay. Okay.
Just if I really want like the highest potency because it hasn't been exposed to oxygen, because once it's exposed to oxygen, the molecules shift.
Yeah.
So it loses some of that, the third oxygen molecule potency, essentially.
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh my God. Now people are getting like, some health advice.
I'm not a
Oh,
doctor.
no, no, nor would you want to be. Doctors don't know anything.
Oh gosh,
Sorry.
it's fair.
They
Unfortunately,
know. They know
I know a
stuff.
lot
They
of things.
absolutely know a lot of things, but generally speaking, it's not helpful if you take their word as gospel because every person is an individual.
Yeah, with the individual energy signature, and that's more affecting your health than probably any of the
Yeah,
rest of it. Yeah.
right. All right, so we're here to talk about human design because
Yeah.
we both are sort of geeks about it. You're a longtime geek, and I'm just starting because it's amazing.
It's amazing. I
Um,
love it.
oh, I love it. And what I love most is when you did my human design reading. what you said was, this rings true to me because it gives me a glimpse of your soul. Because we've never met in person, we've never really hung out. But
Yeah.
what you said was what I get from your soul in the times that we've interacted. This rings true to me. And that is amazing because, we're all soul beings. And so when you can have that human design that basically shines a light on your soul, it helps us to be better, right? In the world, to show up in the world as we're meant to based on our soul's calling.
Yeah.
And as parents, it helps us understand our children better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's the best part I think about it. And
Yeah.
with partners too, but yeah, with kids, like human design is pretty amazing because it's just so helpful to look at your kid's design and say, this thing that maybe bothered me about them, or like not bothered me, but like I thought I had to change because of whatever societal constructs tell you have to change. Like, not only is this part of my child's design, but this is a gift that my child came into the planet with a goal of using that gift to shift the world and the energy in the planet. Like, I'm not going to get in between that and their, like, I'm standing back. Watch them do their thing, where it's so easy as a parent to get into that critiquing and always like,
Always.
calling out on stuff that you think, oh, I know better. I know better. What?
Right. Or it's not normal. Like I have to say, when you told me that I'm a manifestor generator and you said, you know what, you actually master things very quickly. So you're not going to follow through on a lot of things. You're going to start, you're going to get it, and you're going to move on. I'm literally 53 years old. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, all my like the little voice in my head that's just like you never follow through on anything. I'm famous for purchasing courses and taking them halfway through, and
This
then
is all
just
you need.
dropping them. And oh my gosh, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, that's all I needed. I don't
You
have
just
to feel bad about myself.
know. That's you. And that's a beautiful gift. Imagine like you're like a genius in a second. You pick up stuff so fast and then you can use it 20 years later in a way that you hadn't even foreseen. All those classes, all of them are going to benefit you in some way. But I know that, but that's the world, right? They're like, no, you have to stick with it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge with kids to be like, oh, you
Yes.
don't have to stick with it. You already got the 5 pose. Like my daughter, she wanted to do this really intensive ballet school and she's a manifesting generator too. And man, it's just like I signed her up. We go every week. It's super serious. She learns all the poses. She's very graceful and sturdy and learns all the thing. And then she comes to me about 6 months in, and we've committed right to the school. And she says, it's not fun anymore. I really like dancing, but it's not fun anymore. And like, I think with my oldest, she's my third, I might have been like, no, you need to stick with it. Right. But I
Mm.
just feel like I've learned so much as a mom. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, you've gleaned what you needed to from this experience. We can let it go. And I
Yeah.
had another mom at the ballet school go, where are you guys? You haven't been there. And I'm like, well, it just really wasn't working for her anymore. And the mom was like, but you've already committed to pay for it and do it. And I said, but if she's not happy, it's not money that's well spent.
Oh my
Right?
gosh. Thank you. Thank you for modeling. Thank you for modeling what it's like to be a parent who's connected to your child and chooses your child over societal norms, which are abnormal, and money. Our
Right.
children and their desires are so much more important.
Then it becomes money horribly spent because your kid's unhappy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And
I
every
mean,
day that you're spending money on the class, you're like, my kid doesn't want to be there.
yeah.
Not enjoying it. And someday she'll need to know the 5 positions for ballet and how to hold herself and for whatever she does, and she'll have it and it'll just be
Yeah.
there. And that whole experience will be a great part of
Mm.
her because she is a manifesting generator through and through. She learns stuff like this. She's the epitome of like starting a crochet project but not actually finishing the thing.
Yeah.
But she's learning so much in the she wanted to learn how to do it. So she learns how to do it, but she doesn't actually need to finish the pillow or whatever it is, the scarf. And that's cool. Oh my
I love
gosh.
it.
You guys are geniuses. You learn things so quickly. It's so impressive.
Well, thank you.
What a great gift to
Yeah.
have rather than be told that, like, oh, you never follow through.
Right. Or just, you know, our our goal in life is to chase joy, right?
Mhm.
From the beginning. And but we're told, no. Sometimes when you're chasing joy, you have to do the hard things. Yes, but only when it's joyful.
Why put that on our kids too?
Why do that? That's your programming. Please
Yeah, we
stop
chose to bring
programming.
them into this life where they should be experiencing joy.
Yes.
Sure.
Now you have three kids,
I do.
and so they have three different human designs,
Oh my
or
gosh,
tell
completely.
us about it and tell me
Well,
just how each of them manifests differently because
you
of
know
their human
what?
design.
And I'll say, so I have 17-year-old, a boy, and then
Mhm.
3 years later, I had another boy, so I have a 14-year-old. And they're like literally yin and yang, night and day. Every single thing about them, their whole life, their personality, the way they were born, the way they were babies, the way they eat, the way they sleep, the way they drink, everything completely different, opposite. And then 10 years after the first, literally to the day, I had a third child, a daughter, when we were living in Portugal. And she is, I literally was like, so I actually went so I'm like a home birthing mom, so I'm not going to push it, but I went 42 weeks and 3 days. My midwife that I was working with in Portugal got rid of me because they can't technically even have me at that point. They thought I was like the crazy American. I was like, she'll come when she comes. But I was hoping she didn't come at the same time as my son had because he's a Pisces and he's really, really strong Pisces. And he was a really difficult early child.
Mhm.
And I say that because it was difficult for me, but I was difficult.
Right.
He was just
Thank
who he
you.
was. I just didn't know how to bring out the best in him yet. I feel like she was born this pretty much just like within hours of him 10 years later. And they're so, those two are so similar, but it's like I get a do-over.
Yes.
And I don't think, I mean, my 17-year-old is amazing. Like I don't need a do-over. He's incredible, but um, I get to, I get to like lead her in a way or like get out of the way for her in a way that
Right.
allows her to be who she is.
Right.
And I see it and I go, oh, I should have done that with him. Like I really did push him when he wanted to do soccer and then he wanted to do karate and then he wanted to do, football class and then and my husband was like, you have to get him to stick. Why is, he wanted Cristiano Ronaldo, my Portuguese.
Yeah.
And
Right.
my son was so good at soccer the first time he did it. He was running at 11 months kicking a soccer ball.
Oh my gosh.
Like
What?
this tiny baby Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be amazing. And he went to the first, played soccer all the time, went to the first practice and he sat on the field and watched. He didn't want to do it. My husband was like, what? This is not okay. But that he mastered it. He was done. He didn't want to
Yeah.
do it anymore. He picked it up back later up when he got older and he loves soccer now. But he was all over the place. And I felt like the bad mom because he didn't want to stick with gymnastics and he didn't want to stick with guitar and he didn't want to stick. But now he knows some gymnastics and some guitar and he's using all of those things
So great.
to
It's so
benefit him
great
in
to
his
know a
life.
little bit of everything.
Yeah. And so with my daughter, I'm able to see that and I'm go, oh, I just let her do her thing, like let it be. With my middle, he's a lot like me. So
Mhm.
we're both projectors. So that means that we don't manifest or generate our own energy. We steal energy from you and then we like
Please.
blow it up, right? And then use it in all the ways. But I can't create my own energy. So I need to have interactions with people to get energy from them, which is great that I've had so many kids in my life. But my son is the same way. And just learning that, like, the way that he operates and the way what he needs about like his downtime and about, he used to have these major, my middle one used to have these major blow ups. And I mean, this is something that people know without human design. I mean, my favorite parenting, um, Shilfali Tasbury. Do you ever read her stuff? The Conscious Parent, The Awakened Parent. I love her stuff.
Oh,
But she talks about this, like if you're having an energetic issue with your kid, like look at yourself, right? Like,
yes.
bring
Always. We
it.
always look at ourselves for everything.
And I think I really realized that like when he was having a big blow up, it was my energy creating the blow up. I was like losing my mind because I didn't know how to handle it. And then he was just soaking up my energy and
Oh,
then making it bigger.
yeah.
And until I could bring my own back down to like a peaceful place,
Yeah.
he wasn't able to stop his outbursts, right? So I had to look within and go, okay, this is me. I'm creating the dynamic here that's creating the problem. This is not a child created issue.
Right.
So he's been a really good teacher in that way too, but his human design has really pointed to that. Like he's soaking up everybody's energy all day. So imagine him on a basketball court
Yeah.
when they win, he loses his mind. He's the one that is he's taking out the whole stadium's energy, and his teachers will be like, "You need to figure out how to rein it in." He's like, "I literally cannot stop this explosive joy that's coming out of me."
Oh my god.
And that is his life goal, is to literally fire everybody up, and that is what he does. He definitely takes in more joyful
Interesting.
energy than he does the negative energy, and he
Yes.
loads with it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Everybody loves being around him because of that. He's just like, but when I learned why, then I can go, "Okay, well, so don't feed him the negative stuff, so then he's not,
Right.
like, exploding on that."
Right.
That's
We don't want
my
them to amplify the negative.
no, and it's a check for me, you know?
Yes.
So, God, kids are such good teachers. My kids are great teachers.
Oh, every child is such great teachers. And it's not, it's what's interesting is like they literally model what it is to be a guide in life because they're modeling for us
Yeah.
in the way that they behave. And when
Mhm.
we pause to see to understand the language that's coming underneath, right? Then we get learnings. We understand. It's pretty incredible. I like having a child is it blows my mind.
I know. And then when you get to be in communion with them where you get that heart to heart moment with them when you realize it's really, like, very honest from a place that's not manipulated by anybody else's energies or anybody else's constructs, and what you just get down to, like, their heart place. God, it's just like it's it's the thing that makes everything worth it times 1,000, like, just so worth it, so wonderful, like, that is why it's my parenting is just, like, I don't know, for me, I feel like that's the reason why I'm here. There's a lot of other reasons why I'm here, but just to experience the joy of being a parent was like, "That's why I showed up here on Earth." I
Right.
wanted to do that.
I mean, the joy in the work.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that people, even if you don't have children, you could do the work. You could find your spirituality somehow.
for sure.
I think in relationships, you can find that, but children really invite us to dig in deep.
Mhm, mhm.
There is so much self-work
For
with
sure.
parenting.
Yeah,
Like literally all day long, I'm journaling.
that's
Journaling
great.
in my mind, self-reflecting, like
Yeah,
what's going on, and just being, just changing all the time, trying to.
man, it's a wild ride, but it's so fun.
Yeah. So tell me, because you're so passionate about human design, have you done it for other friends, for them and their kids? And have they come back and been like, oh my God, game changer?
Yeah, well, I've helped a lot of people with relationships more than kids.
Okay.
Um, the thing about human design is, like, once you understand your human design, and then if you have a partner, their human design, it just makes, managing the relationship so much better and
Mhm.
easier, and you can see their gifts for what they are and appreciate them, and that definitely translates to people with children. But, I mean, I've read a few I mean, honestly, like, I'm not a pro at this. I use,
Okay.
there's a woman named Rachel Zoe who has an app called the Align app. I love her stuff. I use her app. I listen to her podcast. She's just really thoughtful in her approach.
Wait, it's not Rachel Zoe, is it?
I'm
It's,
sorry, Jenna Zoe. What did I
yeah,
say?
Jenna
Rachel Zoe.
Zoe.
That's
Yeah. She's
hmm.
like a stylist.
Oh yeah, yeah, Jenna Zoe. Thanks for
Jenna
correcting me.
Zoe.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. Um, anyways,
Jenna Zoe. She has her own website, which is like Human Design with Jenna Zoe or something like that.
yes. And she has, it used to be a podcast called Human Design. Now they changed it to the Align podcast. They also changed it to the Align app.
Okay.
And she's always just adding some really helpful information. Like, I really appreciate, she talks a lot about, like, how to navigate relationships. I listened to something yesterday that was about intimacy and how, like, if you, it's kind of like that whole thing where people used to do, what's your love language, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, if you
Right.
feel intimacy in a certain way and your partner feels it in a different way or is able to get it in a different way, then you might come across a lot of strife unless you can see the way that they need
Mhm.
it and also show them the way that you need it, or present to them a way to be there for you to help you
Mhm.
into intimacy. Then it can just really, like, help it just helps you through stuff when things get hard and you can see why. Oh, I really need so like my husband's very emotional and I'm non-emotional.
Mhm.
And so if we have even like not even just intimacy but like a connection where like he's blocking off his emotional um space from me, then I don't have any way to read him. So I don't it really throws me for a loop, right?
Mm, mhm.
But at the same time, if he's like overly emotional about something else, sometimes I'll take that into me and I don't even know
Right,
what's my own feeling and what's his. Like, am I really mad? What am I mad about? I don't know. I'm mad because he's mad. But
right,
that's bananas, which also happens with kids sometimes. So,
right.
I just really like her app is really helpful. So I would say that I use that a lot, and I definitely I've introduced some friends to it, and like we'll talk about. It, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's so true. Everything you've told me is so accurate for my
Yeah.
life." And um, I just think it's crazy how accurate it seems,
It's so incredible, and for the longest time, I have a girlfriend who is was geeking out on gene keys,
which
and
is
every
alarming.
time, yep, every time I would say anything to her, she would be like, "Have you done your gene keys yet? Have you done Greg's?" Like my husband's, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, "No." She's like, "I'm telling you, if you look them up, it'll make all the difference." And like dive deep, and I just haven't, and I probably won't. However, when you told me that the numbers from human design correlate to your gene keys, right? Then I pulled up my gene keys again, and then I pulled up my husband's and I gave it to him. And he was like, he went after he read it, he was like, "This is crazy because I literally am reading it and I'm wondering to myself if you actually wrote this." Because there were things that I would say to him and he would be like, "Hold on a second."
Yeah, it's so accurate. And then at some point I started wondering like, does everyone just have the same? But then I would randomly read someone else's and I'm like, oh, that's so opposite from everything we have going on in our life. But our family just has really similar gifts
Yeah.
and you get a lot of people that are interested in spiritual awakening that have similar gifts, right?
Yes, right.
Telling things like they are, like loving, grace and courtesy, like a gift of seeing the way things really are and being able to shift them into a positive way, like natural integrity, a
Yeah.
heart-centered approach. Like a lot of the people that are having
Right.
these kind of conversations have those gifts. So then you start to go, does everyone have those gifts?
Right.
No, it's not that way. Like people have like my one of my sons is his literal life. There's a life purpose part of your human design, and that's basically discovered by where when you look at your chart, you
Mhm.
have wires or lines that connect parts of your the different sacral parts of your like the different chakra parts of your body. And one of my son's life purpose is to see what's up when no one else does and fix it and tell the world how to do it better, basically. That's kind of
Neat.
a summarize. But imagine that kid when they're a kid, right? And they're always like, that's not what are you doing? Like that's not the right way to do that. And like you could really people could not like that kid because that could
Yep.
be the smart aleck kid or the one that's always like, telling the teachers that they did it wrong. I mean, we've had that situation a couple times where the teachers are like, he said it was wrong. And I'm like, well, was it? And they're like, yes, but he shouldn't have said it was wrong.
Why not?
And I think if you're a parent and you go with a societal view on that, you're like, the children should be seen and not heard part of that,
Mhm.
then
Yep.
you're really inclined to squelch that thing that is not only a gift of your child's like their biggest gift,
Right.
it's their life purpose. Like
Oh,
they need to be able to do that. They need to
yeah.
have that like not only seen but appreciated. So then
Yeah.
when you read that and you go, this is my kid's this thing that I might have found annoying, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all
Right.
people, is my kid's life purpose. Like now I'm gonna be like, yeah, thank you for showing me. Oh, wow, that how did you know that? And like, can you
Right.
explain it more to me? And maybe you can help me out with this. And like
Yep.
keep showing me what's up. Keep telling
Right.
us where we're doing it wrong because we need
Yeah.
people like you and you're gonna change the vibration of the planet one day, But
Absolutely.
imagine how easy it is to squelch out that fire when it's popping out.
Well, especially as parents, right? We have such big egos that if a child is saying, no, this is how we do it, and you as a parent naturally would be like, no, actually, I'm the parent, and this is how we're going to do it. Right? You
Yeah.
basically just continue to squash your child's light, which,
Yeah, but it's so easy to do that. Our society, like, really sets us up to do that, you know?
yeah,
And it really
right.
takes a step back to go, "Huh, maybe that's my own conditioning. Maybe that's not the right way to be,"
Right,
you
right.
know?
I mean, I'm
Like,
finding that a lot.
for another example, as spirit my husband's a very spiritual speaking like, seeking person too, and he's done all these meditation retreats, and he was a Buddhist for a really long time, and he just has this part of him that is a drive to be in charge of things and to make money. And our whole lives have always been like, money's not real, man. Like, let go of the money vibes. Like, it's fine. The universe will bring it to us. We don't even see money, think about money. Like this whole spiritual thing about like money not being real. And he literally has a part of his chart that is called like the money line that connects this part of him that needs to be in charge and be like the king of his castle, or like even like the leader of his village,
Yeah.
to must provide. And most men have this, but like his is one of the strongest parts of his entire chart. And he literally has this thing that not very many people have, but it
Yeah.
literally makes him obsessed with providing. And it manifests as money now, but maybe a million years ago it was like going out and gathering,
Right.
hunting or whatever. But
Right.
he literally, like, that is a gift that he has. And I spent so many years being like, if you're really like in touch with your spiritual like
Hilarious.
guides, and you would know that money is just like it's not real,
Yeah, stop obsessing.
Yeah, yeah, but like that's part of who he is. That is, and it's a gift,
Right.
And then when you can see
Right.
it that way, not only does that change our conversation around it, where I'm like,
My
get down
gosh.
from my high horse a little bit and realize that like
Mm-hmm.
maybe I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know all those things I think I know. And then just see him now, see that in a positive, such a positive
Right.
light, and like champion that. I'm so grateful that you have that part of you. I'm so grateful
Yeah.
that because you can't change it. The stuff that's in your human design is not going to change. So there's no point in trying to change anybody's
Interesting.
design. You can like squelch
Yeah.
it by being,
Yeah.
you can definitely squelch it when your kids are little by like not honoring their souls. And
Right.
then that will create trauma later in their life.
Yeah.
And that will create a disconnect from their body and their soul, as you know, with
Yeah.
energy healing. And
Right.
they'll have to go to energy healers to try to reconnect their body and their soul.
But first, I'll spend a lot of money going to therapists because, the conventional systems say
Yeah.
therapists works,
And
but
taking prescription medication as
exactly.
well
I mean,
to
we
try
don't
to
want
literally
that.
put their soul back in their body, which is bananas. Um, but I just think like you when you start to realize that something is not a negative and it's not something that you can change, because like women, we come and we're like, I'll change them and I'll fix this and whatever. Then you can see it as it's a blessing, and it's a gift, and then your relationship with that part of somebody is, it's more about championing
Yeah.
that instead of being negative about it.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because not even just women come in and think we're going to change, but I think in the spiritual realm, you know how you were describing, oh, money isn't real, all this stuff. Like there's this perception that one way is better than the other,
And
right?
you're
And
just
we
not
get
enlightened
into
enough.
that, right? And so this is where the conversation always leads back to there is no good or bad. There just is. And so if we just can meet everything as it just is, then everything is better because we just value everybody for who they are, where they're at,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
that's work.
That is work, but that is like the enlightenment, right? That is
Right.
it. Valuing everybody
Right.
for who they are and what they offer without any, with that's true love that has no conditions on it. And that is,
Right.
we talk about the Christ-centered love, the unconditional love,
Yes.
always has so many conditions on it.
Right.
That's truly, truly what unconditional loving is. And that's what we're here. Yeah, I think that's what we're here to do.
That's what we're here to do. And when we model that for our children, if it's hard, it's hard. I'm not going to say if it's hard. It's hard to model it when it hasn't been modeled for us. We don't live in it. We all have our own little itty bitty shitty committee that like tells us we suck. And so we then also, what I've noticed a lot, and I do this as well, which I'm trying not to, is that self-deprecating humor that you apply to your child.
Mm,
Right? Because even those words, they hurt, even though we're laughing and we think it's funny, but it's not really funny.
mhm.
That just just because it's hard, it's very easy to go onto a human design website, whether it's Jenna Zo's or somebody else's human design. Just Google it and learn what your child's human design is. Learn what your spouse's human design is so that you can step into that place of, oh, I see that it's a gift. That is a gift. And then you're always looking out for the gift in your child rather than what's wrong because society will push you, doctors, teachers, experts will push you to look for what's wrong. And that is not the way to live our lives. And so if we can model it, then we're modeling unconditional love. And then the child will grow up to know unconditional love.
And think about our grandkids, like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like it just gets better from here. If
Yeah.
we're on this trajectory as a planet where we're seeing this and it just gets better, I
It just
think.
gets better. So it's human design. You would put in your name, your date of birth, the time of birth, and the
You
place
need
of birth.
Yeah,
You
you
need
need
all of
it's very
those.
specific. You need to have like the minute that you were born
Yeah.
because human design is connecting astrology, I
Mhm.
Ching,
Uh-huh.
Kabbalah, human like physics that we understand now, human consciousness science that we understand now. Um Also Christian, some like Christian stuff. So it's like it's very a very intricate map for someone's like blueprint of their life essentially, but it's using all of those ancient tools. But you
Yeah.
do have to have, because there's that astrology base, you do have to have like the minute that you were born in the location. So sometimes it's hard. Like even my husband, I don't know, we kind of have like an idea, but I
Yeah.
know some of his stuff is not completely 100% accurate because he doesn't
Right.
have like know exactly when he was born.
Right, same with my husband. And then also you can go to Gene Keys. You could look up Gene
Yeah.
Keys
Richard
and
Rudd.
do that the same thing.
Yeah.
It's very similar and just do it to give
He
you
has a
an
lot on human
overview.
design too. He did a bunch of books on human design before he did
Oh,
the
cool.
Gene Keys, so he's really a great resource. And
Yeah,
for people that really get into it, he does classes and like
right.
retreats and yeah, a lot of YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I mean, I had the Gene Keys book, and so I did read up, on my main Gene Key
yeah,
number
it's a lot. It's a lot to take
a
in. It's a
lot.
lot of words. Sometimes you have to go back to it a couple times
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, but it's so helpful. So tell me, I mean, since you've done the human design on all three of your kids, did you share those with your husband so he also has an idea and then he also understands how the generator works?
Yes, but I have learned to let this happen as it will, and he was not interested when I got into this. We'd spent many years doing very similar, like ayahuasca and like similar spiritual things,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he needed a break from that world right around the time I was getting into it. But what I have done because of that, and also because my kids like they know I'm kind of the crazy lady, but it works. It's like we know you're crazy, but like we always come to you when there's an issue, right? So just like with the medicine,
Right.
they're gonna they're gonna ask me to help them, even though they're like, yeah, my mom, she's like herbs and energy healing.
Right.
But so I basically like in their bathrooms for the kids, I've put their human design, like some of the basics, because I'm not gonna put it in their room, but I kind of have call in the bathroom. So I like when, I always put books and stuff, right? Because boys spend a lot of time in the bathroom. And
That's so
I made
funny.
these posters with like really something really helpful for kids with human design for themselves is there's a whole section in how you make decisions. So when they can understand the way that they do make decisions and the way that's easiest for them to make the right decision,
Yeah.
gosh, that takes up so much of a kid's like stress, right?
Oh,
So
great. Yeah.
I did a whole thing about, like, how to make decisions, and, like, one of my sons really needs to listen to his gut, but he has a really hard time with that because he's always thinking, "But if I do this, I'll miss out on this, and if I do this, I'll miss out on this." But he has a little voice in his head that's like gut telling him what to do all the time, and then my other son will always say no first no matter what.
Yeah. Right.
"You wanna go to Disneyland?" "No." Like, he's gonna say no. But he needs a minute, he needs a pause, he needs time, he needs 24 hours. So, in his chart, like, what I've written for him is, like, take some time, tell your friends, I'll get back to you on it. And you really kind of hash it out in your brain. What happens if I say yes? What happens if I say no? How do I feel about it? He's got an emotional authority. He can go through the emotions and feel like, how do I feel about this if I say yes? How do I feel about this if I say no? And that will help him to make decisions. He needs to pause. When he doesn't pause, he says no to things that he would really enjoy a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
So, trying to give them that, like,
Yeah.
that's really helpful. And then sometimes to my husband, I'll be like, "Well, he's like this because of this." And he'll be like, "Oh, okay." He'll listen to, like, the little things, but he doesn't
Yeah.
wanna get really into the
He's
chart.
not diving into it. He's done.
He's too busy. He's just too yeah, he's just got
Yeah.
too much other stuff,
He's
which
too
is
busy making money. Leave him alone.
it's true. Which, we need, so
We
we're
need. Good for
gonna
him. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think I wanna do that too because I wanna share, my daughter's human design with her whenever she's ready, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to just, like, because when I wanted to sit down and talk to my kids about it, they're like, "Mom, you're so like,
Like,
you're
leave
being
me
a
alone.
witch. What are you doing? This is bananas." But when I just put it there and I know they're gonna read it,
Yeah.
then I know they're gonna just kinda pick up some things that are helpful for them. And then sometimes we'll be sitting at the table and I'll be like, "Well, that thing you just told me, like, that's in your human design. Like, that's the way that you process energy, or that's the way that, um" I'll just, like, reiterate, "Oh, that's one of your gifts, like, that thing that
Yeah.
you're doing, that's one of your gifts," and,
That's so sweet.
you know?
I mean, I would venture that at least 90% of families do not talk about their children's gifts.
I know, but there's so many of them. There's so
There's
many
so
beautiful gifts that they
many.
have.
Yeah. I'm gonna start implementing that. I haven't said anything about my child's gift yet.
And when you go through your children's gifts, you're gonna be like, "Oh, she does do that. Oh my god, he does have that. Oh, she really has that." And you'll be like, "That's incredible. How does this work? Like, she's so good at that. He's so wonderful at that."
Yeah.
And then you can tell them, like, um one of my kids, like, his one of his best gifts is he champions the good in everybody, and he makes
Yeah.
them feel good about themselves, and we talk about this, and he's like, "I really like doing that, like, that makes me feel really good," and he knows, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's like, "I do have that gift. That is a gift I have." And
That's
he when you
beautiful.
always get feedback,
Yeah.
you realize it's true.
Yeah.
It's like that. Are you familiar with the nurtured heart,
No.
teaching
What's
method?
that?
You know what that
No.
is? Um, I was a teacher for years, and this is something that came up in the maybe 2010s. It's called Nurtured Heart, and a lot of schools basically adopted it as a way to deal with disciplinary issues. But basically, what you do is, and it works for parents too, is you focus only on the good, you give no attention to the bad, and you find specific things that are happening in the moment that is not a lie, and that is a gift the child is bringing to the moment, and you acknowledge it. So you say, like, for the kids that are really long, you say, I love when I asked you to clean up right away. You did it so quickly without arguing with me. That was phenomenal." Or you say, "I love the carefulness you took when you were writing your paper. It shows so much dedication. It shows
Yeah.
that you care about this subject matter we're learning about." Or, I watched you see your friend across the field and go and give her a hug, and I could see how that really made her feel so good, and that really was a special moment for me today to see the way that you embraced your friend. Just anything like that,
Yeah.
because when kids hear those things, when it's not like when we always go, "Good job, good job, good job,"
Right.
that's just so, like, blanketed.
It's
But
so,
when
yeah,
we're
meaningless.
specific, yeah, and then they think, "Oh, my parents always say good job all the time because
Yeah.
it's my parents."
That's just what they do.
Yeah, and then they don't really feel that way,
Right.
but I think when they were doing it in schools, and I think some schools still use it, they see a lot less, discipline problems with children because the children are really striving to
Right.
be acknowledged for all the ways that they're doing helpful and loving and kind, and that's kind of what Montessori is too, like,
Mhm.
they're just really, like, focused on my kids go to Montessori, and it's just, like, they're really focused on gr grace and kindness and loving actions more than, like, all the actual schoolwork, and that's where they're giving you a lot of feedback, they say, "I really saw the way that you did that today at school, and that was really, really wonderful," you
Well,
know?
what's interesting when you say this is that when you have the adults that are in the room that are focused on the good qualities of the children, the reason why you're not seeing so much disciplinary action being needed is because the adults have shifted their perception. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with the children.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
It's
Well, we
all
create
perception.
the reality that we're living in, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Abraham Hicks, like Esther Hicks a lot, and
Yeah.
she with the stuff and I did when I was having a hard time with my boys arguing all the time when they were younger, and she would say that, "Just talk to them. Oh, really loved how you got along today when you guys were playing with Legos and you were sharing the heads and you were sharing the feet, and God, that was so cool how you guys did that." And she talks about just, like, harp on those things because the
Yeah.
more you talk about that, the more that happens. Like, that's just
Yeah.
the universe.
Yeah.
More energy you give to that,
Right?
that's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And even, gosh, imagine if we could like shift the perception. Let's say they were fighting over the Legos and one person wanted it, right? And you were coming in and you were like, oh my gosh, I really love how you really want that piece. I think that's really strong that you wanted it, and you also held your own because you wanted it too.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that quality that you weren't willing to give up because you're going to need that in life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just not even talk about like
The argument or the screaming.
sharing or blah, blah, blah. It's
Yeah.
more like, you know what? You're going to need that quality of yours.
Yeah. That's
And then
nice.
everyone's just going to be like, oh, I'm doing good and I'm doing good too.
Yeah.
Like everyone's winning.
Yes. And then it becomes less of a headache for mom because then they wanna keep winning.
Right.
'Cause that's really what you're trying to like, you don't wanna hear the fighting, and you don't hear the screaming anymore, whether or not you attribute that as a good or bad thing, like, sometimes it's grating, right?
Yeah.
So when you focus on all the really positive things that you can, that other stuff kind of goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when we're talking about our kids and somebody who's really spicy and spunky, I always say, people who are like, my child never does anything. They will squirrel, like they will try and get away from doing things, and then she'll tell her brother to do it. Her brother will do it, right? And she never does any responsibilities. And I say,
What a
that's a
good
future
delegator.
CEO. That's
Yeah.
literally a future CEO. Like, what are you going to squash that out of her?
Yeah.
Then don't have her do it. It's okay.
And that's the thing about human design with energy too, is that you see that some kids have their own energy, they generate their own energy to
Yeah.
do all the laundry, all the dishes, or whatever it is, and some kids really don't have that,
Right.
and that's okay because those might
Right.
be the ones delegating someone else to do it, and as long as everybody's okay with their place,
Yes.
and when you're living your design, you're okay with it because that's
Yeah.
your design. So, like,
Right.
when you're living your design, you're like, "I'm okay with that place."
This is the thing. It's like now that, like, I am, as a manifestor generator, I have so much energy and I will
Right.
do all the things. And then
Mhm.
if you have a child who doesn't do anything because they need downtime, then you can recognize that and not shame them for it.
Yes, there's so much shame around that. You're lazy,
Yeah.
and like, no, they just really need to be in their bed reading a book.
Yeah.
What they need.
And also, we all need to be in bed reading a book sometimes.
I need to be in bed reading a book a lot. That's where you'll find me most evenings. I'm done. I'm in bed.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, this was a really useful conversation. I really encourage all parents to get their go read your human design, read your kids' human designs because it will change your life.
I definitely think it will. It has the capacity to, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
my some of us are storytellers. My youngest daughter's a storyteller. I did not know this, but I did notice that She's she just turned 7, she's a singer, she writes she actually writes down lyrics to the like tunes of songs that she knows, and then she changes all the lyrics to create these stories that she writes. And I just thought that was beautiful. But then when I learned about her human design, I learned that her actual purpose on the planet is to be a storyteller and to tell us
Oh my
about her lived experience and then to change us in our perception and our vibration based on her stories. And like I talked to a teacher, and that's what she does all day. She
God.
goes
Because
to
she goes to a Montessori school.
She goes to Montessori, so that's like interest led, basically, which is why I love it. Last year she was really into sewing, so she sewed all year and like flowers, and it's really sweet. I love it. But her right now, they're really doing a lot of writing, and she they can make these books, and she just goes in this one section of the room, and she sits there and she writes for hours. She just writes these stories and she illustrates. She's a really good artist. So she illustrates at the top. There's a little place where they can illustrate at the top. And she just writes and writes and writes. And her teacher says she sings while she's writing.
Oh,
And they, at school, because it's Montessori, they let them, that they consider that like the way that she learns. So they're not
yeah.
going to swell. So she'll be there. The whole class will be silent and she'll be over there singing her stories in the corner. It's super, super sweet. And her teacher's like, we just love it. Like, we love her energy. She makes everybody calm with her little story songs. But then to hear that and also have her, like, her teacher told me that unbidden. That's what she told me at our conference.
Yeah.
She's like, she's our storyteller. She tells us stories all the time. Like, that is her literal human design purpose on this planet is to tell stories.
That's amazing. This is another reason why human design is so important.
Just
Ah,
really validating and cool.
yeah. Thanks for sharing that story. Do you think there might ever be a chance that we could get a sample of your daughter's, like maybe some of her story or some of her song that I can
Yeah,
like, okay, cool, cool.
I think,
Let's do
yeah, we
that.
could do something like that.
Okay, great. When I send out this newsletter, I'm going to include that because that'll be
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Belinda, for having me.
Thanks for taking the time. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we covered it. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, fantastic. Then I'm sure I'll talk to you again, maybe about herbalism and all your medicine magic.
Okay. I'm here.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.